So today we'll be looking at elements of theatre. Now, theatre arts has 3 disciplines: dance, stagecraft, and drama. Now, it also has 3 core areas. And the 3 core areas are elements of theatre, Caribbean culture form, and textual analysis. Now, today we'll be looking at elements of theatre. Now, at the end of this lesson, students should be able to name the elements of theatre. They should also be able to identify the 9 stage positions, justify the effectiveness of various stage positions during a performance, and also create a model of a stage to show the effective use of the stage positions during the delivery of the carpenter's complaint. Now, dramatic works can be analyzed and evaluated in 3 categories, namely literary elements, technical elements, and performance elements. Now, those 3 categories come together and make up the elements of theatre. Now, when we look at literary elements, we look at the plot, the character. Oh, and back to the plot structure, that comes in with the exposition, the falling action, the climax, the resolution. It also takes in the theme. When we look at the performance elements, that takes in acting. So right there, so say, the vocal expression comes in, the non-verbal expressions, the acting. When we talk about the technical elements, we are talking about light, sounds, camera, set, costume, anything that enhances the production. And see, you have them on the board. So over there we have the setting, the lighting, the sounds, and like I said to you, this all comes under the technical elements. So let us move on to characters. Characters. Who are characters, though? I bet you know that story by Trevor Rowan, Old Story Time. You know it? Let us look on 2 of the characters. So we're going to look at Miss Aggie and her son. What's the name of this? Len. Her son, Len. All right. Come on, go down a river, go play now. All right, come then. Jesus, Savior, pilot me. Don't bother to run. Don't bother to run. If I run, I'll murder you tonight. Don't I tell you not to leave the house? Don't I tell you to stay in the yard and study your books? Who is the girl? Miss Esmeralda Fonzie Tail Jiggerfoot Jesus. Boy, that girl is your friend. You don't have no ambition. Where is your ambition? How many times I must tell you, you're not to mix up with the dirty black girl them in the district. They will drag you down. All right, Mama. All right, so we look at those 2 characters. So we have Len and we have Miss Aggie. Now, if you notice, my costume would have been the tie, and this would be for Miss Aggie, yeah? And so when it comes to characters, you have to transition from one character to the other, and it must be clear. And so I did something when I was playing Len. So they were going to the river. And the freeze. What we call that again in drama? Yes. You got it, a tableau. And what's a tableau? A frozen picture that tells a story. Yes. And so Miss Aggie going to the river to meet Len, you know, her character would probably be in a tired and she's about 60 something. And so your characters have to be believable. So her mood, what kind of mood do you think Miss Aggie was in? Yeah, she was angry. Yes, she was angry because Len no stop mix up with the dirty dry girl them in the district. All right. And so, and you see her movement? Miss Aggie movement, it was very swift because of her mood. All right. So we have characters. So you have a definition. So a character is a person, animal, or thing in the story. Then a dialogue. So the dialogue in drama, we must have a dialogue. So yes, you might argue, but what about a monologue? You know that the monologue is a long speech by one performer. But just now, between Miss Aggie and her son, they had a dialogue. And a dialogue is a conversation between two or more persons. And the mood would be Miss Aggie's state of mind, how she was feeling at the time. And like we said, she did angry. Not true? Yes, she was angry. Our movement, the manner in which we travel in the space. All right. So we're going to be looking at the major elements. So it is safe to say that there are 6 major elements in theater. There are performers, audience, director, theater space, design aspect, text or script. You know, we say text or script because you know the script is the play written down. So it's actually the text. All right, so let us look at the performer. Just now, when Vanessa was trying to play Miss Aggie, she takes on the character of Miss Aggie. And so, in that case, Vanessa is the performer who takes on a character. And so let us see what performers are. All right, so the performers are persons on stage presenting the characters in a dramatic action. They also pretend to be someone else. And they also, they should be believable when portraying whichever role that they are presenting. Would you say that Miss Aggie or Len was believable? All right, as you say, not me. All right, let's move on. So the other one that we're looking at is audience. We must have an audience. It's not the movie theater. We must have an audience. And this is what the audience does. So the audience is the essence of the theater. So it's the essence of the theater is the interaction between the performer and the audience. It must be live. So when we have the audience, it's a live show. So we have a call and response atmosphere. We also have a call and response atmosphere. And also, the actors respond to the energy of the audience. And so if the actors are on stage acting out their lives, if we have one dedicated audience, it'll go drag the presentation. And so students, I know you have your production exams coming up. You have to give off something to the audience, and so the audience can give back to you. All right, so we're going to move now to director. Without the director, the play cannot go on any at all. So the director's job. So the director is responsible for the creative interpretation, the casting, the rehearsal process of the production. And when we talk about blockings, the director is responsible to block the scene. And you know that blockings is what the director does with the performers on stage. All right. Vanessa, when you're playing the character Miss Aggie, stand center stage. Sit on the table. You name it. So director. All right. The director also is in charge of he must get the costumes together. And so the director is going to employ somebody, and he's going to share his idea of what he wants the costume to be like, how the set should be to fit whatever they are presenting. The director also ensures that the performers understand the text. You don't want a performer on stage and they don't know anything about the text that they're presenting. The director also ensures that the performer delivers the script excitingly and appropriately. All right, so we are going to look at theater space now. Theater space. So we have a formal and an informal theater space. Also, we have the proscenium arch, and the proscenium arch stage are the stages you see in older theaters. So if you visit the Philip Sherlock Theater, you would see what we call a proscenium arch. And if you go to the War Theater downtown, it's kind of renovating now. You will see a proscenium arch stage. And then, so what is taking over now from the proscenium arch is what we call the end stage. So the end stage is a modern adaptation of the proscenium arch stage. So we have the end stage, the arena stage, the thrust stage. So the arena, it is what we call theater in the round. So think about the stadium, think about the National Arena. And if any of you ever go to Edna Manley, you remember that one is right at drama school at the entrance there, an arena stage. And the thrust stage now is the stage that projects into the audience. So the audience sits on three sides. And then we have what we call a green room. So this is a room where the performer can relax. So you know you're not going on stage now, or the show not start yet. You go into the green room, probably get some coffee, get some crackers, and you relax. So we're going to look at the setting. What is the setting though? Do we have to have a setting? Yes, we must have a setting. The setting would be the arrangement of scenery to provide a background or environment in which the action can develop. Where are you on the stage? When you want to know where you are on the stage, we call those the stage positions. And we have three sections. We have upstage, which is closest to backstage. Then we have center stage, which is in the middle. And then we have downstage, which is closest to the audience. But what is a formal theater space as opposed to an informal theater space? Now, the formal theater space, like the word suggests, the dress-up thing, everything is ready, already there. So the formal theater space would be like a little theater, center stage. So lights, sound, seating, a raised platform is already erected in that area. And then an informal theater space now is anywhere where you make up your stage. And so if you're in the community and you're going to be having a community drama piece and you decide you're going to go under the guango tree, that's your stage area. That's informal. An area that is not yet set up, an area that does not have the equipment that you would find in a formal theater space. And an informal theater space can merely be your classroom, a church hall, outside under a tree. That's where informal theater space comes in. All right, so we're going to be looking now on stage positions. So remember, earlier on I said to you, the area that is farthest away from the audience is what? What we call it? Very good, upstage. So the area farthest away from the audience is upstage. And then the center area is center stage. And then the area closest to the audience is downstage. Now, when the actors are on stage, The actor's right is always stage right. The actor's left is always stage left. All right. And so, then if the actor's right is always stage right, then if I'm in the audience, how I know them different? You tell me later. All right, remember now, if you have any questions, please feel free to text any of the social media platforms and send your questions. We will answer it for you. Now, so we have upstage right. Remember, the actor's right is stage right. However, the audience's right becomes stage what? Left. Very good. The audience right becomes stage left. All right, so we have upstage center next to upstage right, and then we have upstage left. In the center now, we have center stage right, center stage left, then downstage right. And remember downstage, that is the area closest to the audience. Downstage right, downstage center, and downstage left. So remember earlier on, I said to you that in the objectives, you should be able to tell me the 9 positions on stage. These are the 9 positions on stage. But what about the areas that are not on the stage? Would they have a name? Yes, they do. Now, the area that is immediately in front of downstage, that line is called the proscenium line, and it falls right in the apron. And so if we have downstage, then the apron, what would be next? Very good. Audience. So the audience will be behind the apron. Also, since we have the 9 areas of the stage, and if you realize there's a little line here, what do you think this line could possibly represent? Yes, you're right. That's the place where the characters stay, and we call it the left wing or the right wing. Yes, very good, brilliant. And then, you know, when you're in the wings, you wait to come on stage. So you wait on your cue. What's the cue again? What's the cue? All right, you're going to tell me later on. All right, so we wait in the wings for our cue to go on stage. And behind the wings, we would have backstage. And behind backstage, we have the green room like we discussed earlier. All right, design elements. No, you know what? Before we go to design elements, let us look on the stage. But this time, in looking at the stage, I am going to look at Edward's Ball, the carpenter's complaint. And I'm going to be standing. So right now, this is my stage area. So here, and what did we say again? Where the performer is, right here would be what? Very good. The left. All right? So right now, I am where? Upstage left. And if I'm right here, then I am where? Downstage left. And suppose me come so on. Yes, right there we are center stage left. And so this is where our stage starts. Right here. So right this is the wing. And this is where it ends. All right? This is where the stage ends. All right. And so I'm going to be doing Edward Ball carpenter's complaint. And you are going to tell me what are the things that I did wrong. All right? No, you would think that is right, sir. Talk the truth. The man was my friend. I built it. I built the house that him live in. So tell me, the first thing I did wrong was what? Very good. The performer cannot or should not turn them back to the audience. And remember, I am the only performer on stage. So why would I be upstage center turning my back? Who am I talking to? So I'm talking to the audience now. where you think it's best for me to stay. Wow, downstage left, why? Oh, very good, because we read from left to right, and so the audience eyes will definitely be there. All right, you have it. All right, so tell me now if I'm doing the right thing. No, you think that is right, sir? Talk the truth. The man was my friend. I built it. I built the house that him live in. Now that him dead. And maga foot boy, him son come say, him want a nice job for the coffin. So him give it to Mr. Bell Navis to make. That big belly crook who don't even know from a chisel. All right. So earlier on you said that in delivering something like this, it is imperative that it's either I come downstage left or downstage center, and then, yes, Shanika over there stated that I should say downstage left because she reads from left to right, and so it makes the presentation probably more dynamic. And she is correct. And so, yes. And another reason we are downstage is because we're talking to the audience. So it helps to build that interaction there with the audience. And so when you're doing your production exam, please remember now, especially if you're delivering a monologue or a soliloquy, don't go upstage. And sometimes we go upstage and other characters are there. I'm going to do this. And you're masking yourself. So you're going to upstage yourself, you mask yourself, you block yourself, and you cannot, this audience will not see you. All right? And so let us try and learn to use the different stage areas. All right, let us look back again. So we said that the part closest to the backstage is called? Very good. Offstage. And then the audience left is the actors what? Right. And so students, if you were asked, because I remembered in, I think it's 2018 CSEC paper, you were given the stage areas and you were supposed to name a few, marked X. And so what if you were writing? You become the audience, not true? And so center stage left would be what? On your? You're right. So don't get it wrong. Because what I realize, you always mix up right and left. But as of today, we're not going to do it anymore. Not true? Yes. So the audience right is the actors left. The audience left is the actors right. Very good. And the areas that are not on the stage, and it is here where the actors wait for their cue to come on stage, is called the, very good, the wings. And behind the wings we have backstage and the green room. And then that invisible wall that is after downstage, we call that the apron. The apron, and then the audience would be behind the apron. All right. So let us move on. Yes. Lights, camera, action, design elements. Yes, design elements. So what are design elements? We talked about that earlier. And design elements come under which of the category? Very good. The technical elements. Yes. So design elements are the elements that helps to enhance the production. It is the spectacle of the production. Yes, very good. And so under design elements, we would have lights. What's actually the function of the light though? All right. So the lights, let us think of, we're at a movie. What kind of light would that be? Would we have this bright light? No. If it is evening and you're sitting by the sea, what would the lighting looks like? If it is night, what would the lighting look like? Think on these things. All right, so the lights. So we have lights, and then over here we have a sound. So mommy and daddy is at a romantic dinner. And they're sitting, and it is night. We want something to kind of lift the ambience. Not true? So a nice sound. So we wouldn't play, tell me one song. Which song we wouldn't play? I am living while I'm living to the Father. Would we play that? Definitely not. Remember, it's a romantic dinner. So we have to set the atmosphere, yeah? And that's where sound come in. And light come in there so too. Yes. And so sound, we would get maybe a nice soul's music like Lady in Red is dancing with me. Something like that. And then, so we have sound. And sound and the orchestra pit. And then in the center, you have the seating arrangements. And so that's where the audience would be, yeah? And if you look closely on the picture, you would see actors on stage. You would see the orchestra pit, the proscenium line, and the area that the audience would sit. And if you look at the back part of the picture, which is what? Upstage, yes. You would see the lights. Very good. All right. So we're set and costume. But how set and costume comes under design elements? Yes, it comes under design elements. Let us look back again. Look at Miss Aggie. Miss Aggie could not come on stage in a khaki pants like the character now. But who would probably be in a khaki pants? Len, not true? Yes, Len. And like we said earlier, Miss Aggie would probably wear a tie or something. And so costume is very important. And that's why it makes up a part of the design elements. It helps to enhance the production. Also the set. What is the set? Yes. That's the area where we have the scenery. And it helps the audience to know what's happening. Yeah? All right. Welcome back to Schools Not Out, your daily classroom for CSEC and CAPE subjects. So before the break, we were looking at design elements. And tell me one design element we talked about earlier. Yes, the lights. The sound, yes. And what did I say the design elements does to the production? Yes, it enhances the production. Yeah, man, so you're on it. So it's the spectacle of the production. Yes, and I was saying earlier that costume and set, it is also important. Because let us look, for example, a costume. If you're playing the character, if you're playing a 3-year-old, you want to wear your tie and your flip-flop slippers and some granny frock. No, you'll probably be in some fancy dress, some flowers dress, and you know, yes. And if you're playing an adult male, what would you be wearing? You think you would be wearing your little short shorts and your little flip-flop? No, sir, I don't think so. Right, so we would not be wearing that. Len probably would wear that because he was going to the river and thing, but not your father. All right? So, we're going to move on now from design elements. And remember the design elements. We have light, sound, the seating, the stage. All right? And then we have costume and set. And we're going to be moving to the text. The script, yes, a script, a play written down, yes. So we're going to be looking at the text. Now, in the text, we have the plot, the sequence of events, and we call the sequence of events what? I see you were paying attention, the plot. And so, under the plot, we have the exposition. What is the exposition again? Yes, it's the introduction of the characters, the setting, and the situation. So if we were reading old story time, we would have already been introduced to the characters. And who are the characters in old story time? Because I know you used to do it in literature. Yes. So we have Pa Ben, we have Miss Aggie, we have Len, we have Pearl. Yes. So you will be already introduced to the characters, the setting, and the situation. Then under exposition, we have the rise in action. And the rise in action is the events and the complications that lead to an important and dramatic point. And if the action is rising, then we would have what next? What would we have next? The climax, the peak point of the story. So the climax is the point of greatest interest and emotional involvement. And then after the climax, we would have the falling action. Yeah? Yeah? Yes, the falling action. So the events that develop from the climax that leads to the conclusion. Under falling action, we have the final outcome. And the final outcome would be the resolution. Also under text, we have the theme. And the theme would be the main idea. The theme tells us the main idea of the story. And guess what? The story would be bland and boring without what? Conflicts. Yes. So we must have a conflict. And you know we have different types of conflict. Not true. What are they? Yes, man versus man. Yes. Man versus himself. Yes, see there you remember from the last class. All right, let us move on. And so, you know that this year is the first year. And CSEC is moving away from those. You remember last year and the previous years you have 6 essay type questions. So this year, it would be good if I said they're moving away because of the pandemic, but no. They're trying to stay there. So CSEC is moving away from the essay type questions. And so this year, if you're sitting CSEC Theatre Arts, then you will have multiple choice. And so let us see what you have learned. So we're going to look at the first multiple choice question. Which response accurately sums up the key elements of theatre? Is it A, performers, audience, text? Is it B, audience, space, time? Or is it C, space, tickets, costume? All right. Or is it D, the director, the set, and the producer? Remember earlier on in the lesson, we talked about the 6 major elements. And so, could it be D? No, it could not. Because only 2 in D. Producer is not a part of the major element. Yes, I know you're going to say, but Miss is the producer will find the money and everything. I know that. But he's not a part of the major element. All right? And space, yes, we talk about the space. But did we talk about the tickets? No. So tickets is definitely not. So C and D, no. Is it B? Wow. Audience, space, and time. Audience, space, and time. What is the distractor here? The time. Because yes, we talk about the set and the setting and thing. However, time would not be. And so our correct answer is A. Let us move on to the other question. So the correct answer is performer, audience, and text. Let us move on to the second question. The place where the actors stand waiting for their cue before going on stage is called the what? No, you put down your hand. You answer too much time now. All right, you, yes. Is it the apron? You sure it's the apron? Or it's B, the wings? Maybe it's backstage. Or it's D, the green room? Remember now, the stage has 9 areas. And to the left and right, we have a little area. And what we say it is called? Yes, you're right, the wings. So B is the correct answer. Now we have this one. A character is on stage in a live comedy show. The audience is not really involved in the performance. To get the audience involved, the actor should move where? Should move upstage. Because she wants to get the audience involved. Very good. The character should move downstage to get the audience involved. And downstage is where? Yes, the area closest to the audience. All right. And so the other question, which of the following is the chronological order of creating a plot? Remember, we talk about the plot structure, yeah? So we have the exposition, the rising action, the falling action, the climax, and the resolution. Or is it B, the climax, then the rising action? It cannot be B, not true. Because it must start with the exposition, which is the introductory part. Yes. So it's either A or C. All right, so let us look at it now. Wow. But it couldn't be A because what? Here, the falling action happened before the climax. So the correct answer is C. Now, this one. The arrangement of scenery to provide a background or environment is called what? Just look at the question. I will not tell you this answer. Look at the question and then look on the other one now. A formal space is best defined as? All right. Remember, you can answer these questions, but you are going to send your response to the social media platforms that are here, and I will answer the questions for you.